on the screen. So SIP runs May 16th to June 9th this year, and tickets go on sale to the members on May 1st. The press launch will be the 30th, and then tickets on sale to members on May 1st, to the general public on May 2nd. And then, starting on the 16th, we'll have 25 days of cinematic glory, which is extremely exciting. We've got plans to have many, many guests from all over the world. We're lucky enough to work with a lot of different country sponsors. The Acción grant to bring directors from Spain. We've got directors from Germany because of the Deutschlandjahr and the Goethe Institute, and there we are. That's what we're really here to talk about. The Goethe Institute and the Deutschlandjahr, which is a year of German-American cultural friendship, which has been great to work with them. But we've got a lot of things going on. And one of the most amazing things that we have going on is our third year of our new Works in Progress forum, which is put together by Kathleen McGinnis, who is a Seattle native, but is working in LA, lives and works in LA now. But she worked for the festival for many, many years, and it's a pleasure to have her back to curate this program, which the lovely Stan Shields is going to tell you about.
Sure. So first off, who out there already knows about the new Works in Progress Forum? Excellent.
Thank you, Amy.
Excellent. For those of you who don't, I think this is very important for this room to know about it. The new Works in Progress Forum, now in its third year, is a really great initiative in which we take 4 films in their rough cut, nearing final cut stage, and we bring those filmmakers here from across the world. We sit down in this audience with industry mentors who've been brought across from around the world as well to come and have these dialogues and sit down and look at these films with our audiences and to give feedback to those filmmakers about what does and doesn't work in their films. Now, often when you go to a festival and you have an opportunity to present a new Works in Progress, you get like 15 minutes in front of these people to have a dialogue with them. Here you'll have 3 hours. 3 hours of a robust conversation, 3 hours of unpacking the film, looking at what it means, educating yourselves on what the filmmakers' intent are and telling them what you didn't receive, and understanding more about the context of how things are being made and what shot maybe is missing that absolutely needs to be there to put context in it, or what kind of a story twist you need to actually add in terms of exposition to really bring a point home. So it's a really great opportunity for people in the film industry in this city to actually get into a room with industry professionals and look at how people who are working on films that end up in Toronto, end up in Berlin, end up in Göteborg, how they're working on those films in the final stages. Yeah. So if you have the opportunity, I recommend you come on down. If you want to go to another slide there.
Oh,
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So here's some stills from the 4 films for this year. If you want to go to the next one, we can cover a little bit more. Or not. That's all right. Oh, there we go. So first off, we're going to look here at the documentary projects for this year, which is going to be Hope's Journey, directed by Yolanda Cruz, a U.S. and Mexico production, and A Loss of Something Ever Felt by Carlos A. Lesmes, which is from Estonia and Colombia. Shot in Colombia. Many people are from Estonia who worked on it. If you look at this over here, you see the list of mentors just for these 2 films. People who are coming to town and will be here in this room. You're going to have Dorota Lech, who's here from TIFF and worked for, I think, also Hot Docs? Yes, Hot Docs. She'll be here.
What is TIFF?
TIFF is the Toronto International Film Festival, which is kind of the granddaddy of the North American cycle each year. So it's a very important festival. To have a chance to meet someone from that festival, have a little dialogue, and have a talk with them. It's a really great opportunity. Next up, you have Greg Rem, who just stepped down because he's transitioning into a much fancier thing he won't tell anyone about yet. But was the director of development at HBO Documentary Films, so he's a great person to meet as well. And of course, Simon Kilmore for the International Documentary Association, who all of you documentary filmmakers should make sure you have a chance to talk to. So that's a really great lineup of people who are going to be here in this room for that. And if you want to look at the narratives, then we're going to have Letter from Lima, which is directed by Maria Paz Gonzalez, the Chile, Argentina, Peru production, and The Paths of My Father, which is Mauricio Osaka, which is Vietnam and Brazil. And over here, once again, a stellar lineup of people who will be in this room to talk about those films. We'll have James Schottel, who is, I think, officially just stepped down from TIFF, and works for Palm Springs. We'll have the distributor Sandro Florin, who is a Figa Films, who's an amazing, very, very smart man. I recommend you spend some time with him. And also Thelma Adams, who's a writer, producer. She's also worked for the New York Film Critics, worked for the New York Post, Us Weekly. She's going to have a lot of insight about the industry that people who do not work so exclusively in the U.S. will have. So I'd recommend you check that out as well. So I think that there's also going to be an important point to make sure that when that 3 hours, you also will be engaging with all of these people and the directors and Kathleen, who is working with people all over the world. So it is a really great opportunity for all the filmmakers in this room, in this community, to come into that room.
When is this?
This is going to be on June 6th and 7th.
That's an excellent question that I forgot about.
So it'll be June 6th and 7th. There will be a 10 o'clock and a 2:30 each day. So there'll be one narrative, one documentary each day. And so you'll have the opportunity to come see all those. They'll be in the lineup and in the free guide as soon as it pops out onto your screens. And on the on the second at midnight, it's to 2 a.m., somewhere in there. Whenever we get the final okay, we'll launch it on the website as well.
So one of the things that people think about SIFF is like, oh, it's all the films, I can go see films. But it's also a terrific place to network and to meet people. And, Aaron was telling me, meeting somebody after the premiere of the film led to the next project and led to something that you're working on now. This is an amazing way to network with people who are internationally known. There's not really a lot of chances that you get to be in this kind of intimate setting and really be able to learn from and interact with some of the mentors, all of the different jury members and industry members who are in town. So there's going to be 30 or so industry members here that you'll be in this room all talking about the same thing in a really intimate setting and really be able to really connect with.
Does one has to buy tickets to attend?
You do, unless, thank you for that segue, because that is a perfect segue. There are, if you're lucky enough to have a film in SIFF, which is great, you'll get a guest pass, which is valid for coming to these forums. There's also an industry pass, and this is like the worst kept, that's actually a really good kept secret, but the industry pass is essentially a full series pass that people pay $800 for, but your fee is $150 for essentially a full series pass that lets you into all of the press screenings, all of the regularly priced screenings, so it really just leaves off opening, closing, and centerpiece. Every other screening part of the festival this year is regularly priced. It gets you into all the forums. It allows you to go to the SIFF Lounge, which is just 2 blocks away from the Uptown, which will have sponsored drinks and ice cream and happy hours and more ways to network and get to know filmmakers and have a really casual happy hour feel to it. It's kind of a screaming deal. So that's one option. The other option is the SFI accreditation. And you can find both of these on our website. And as you can see, the accreditation is slightly different. It's press screenings, SIFF Lounge, you get a catalog, you get access to the forums, so the price point is much lower. And then you can sort of add on some add-ons. You can add on a 6-pack, you can add on tickets to opening night, you can add on a few different things. But for the Seattle Filmmakers Initiative, Seattle Filmmakers Initiative, that's what those stand for. But there's different ways that you can access SIFF. And the SIFF Works in Progress Party on Wednesday, June 5th from 5 to 7 at the Starbucks Roastery is when everybody is in town, all the industry is in town, everybody gets together, which is also a terrific way to network and get to know people. One of the things we really do want to do, we want to show amazing films from around the world. We've got 400 films coming at you from almost 90 countries, which is great. But we also want to be a resource for your career development, for networking, for getting to know people, for having a deeper connection to either those films or the people that bring the films. Because we really believe that it's important within the film ecology and the creative economy here in Seattle. The more we know each other, the more projects that happen, the more economic benefit we all see, the more great films we get to show at SIFF, which is a fantastic thing for us. As I said, we have 41 this year, which shows us that people are working and doing some really great work. And the more that we can encourage more great work to happen through really affordable access points to the festival that are a little higher level than just the single ticket level. We want to do that. We want to be that platform that gets you in and gets you something really great for your careers. If I could give you all the next film, that would be awesome. Great. Any questions about the passes or access points or what? Yes.
Hello, hi, my name is David Ishii.
Hi.
I have a wonderful idea for
Great.
you on the plate. I'm running for Seattle City Council here in Seattle, a candidate. I would like to turn this into a film. If anybody would be interested, talk to me afterwards. It's just wonderful, and it's all fresh ideas, everything. I think I'm really bankable and pay dividends here. So,
Awesome.
David Ishii, running for Seattle City Council here locally.
Documentarians take note.
Yep.
Potential for next projects. Great. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit, and Stan is going to talk about Northwest Connections.
Yes, so it is really exciting to finally get to tell people about this instead of telling all these people like, shh, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. I will tell you there are 25 on that screen. We have our traditional areas where you can find some of them in terms of this year's Northwest Shorts package called Destination Northwest this year. They'll be also represented in Future Wave, of course, with our Young Filmmakers package. And then the rest are spread. There's so many, we had to spread them all over the festival because there were so many great places that they could fit and so many great films to show. So you'll find them everywhere from in front of features to spread out in at least half of the short film packages, and a couple of them, there's an episodic in there as well. So there's a great, robust look at all the work going on right now in the city and in the state, and I recommend you take a look at all of those things when you get a chance. Are there any filmmakers for the shorts here? Excellent, excellent. Do you have any questions or anything?
I do.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that it can take years for a film to go from concept to the screen, are you seeing any trends that might connect the present political climate, whether here or internationally, in the films that you have seen?
There's a very robust, I mentioned a little bit about activism, but there's, in terms of personal and environmental, but when we spread to the larger program, all across the country, across the world really, there is a huge amount of political activism, be it in narrative theory and in a documentary action that's going to be represented this year in the festival.
One of the interesting things that we're seeing is that the films that are starting to come out are about individuals choosing activism as opposed to large-scale activism movements, and really focusing on, we've got Running with Beto, Beto O'Rourke, who's an individual who chose to run against Ted Cruz, which, can be argued. He's a politician at heart, and that's amazing, but he's also, he's young, and he was looking at the landscape and saying, there's got to be somebody better than this to represent our state, and it's like, well, it might be me. He's got his foibles. It's a really interesting film. But, of course, now he's running for president, so somebody that we should all know something about as a candidate for president. We've got a number of documentaries about just young people especially choosing activism within their own lives, whether it's social, cultural, sexual, choosing to sort of take something to the next step and change the world around them.
Any other questions? Excellent.
Great. Well, that's all we have. We went out with we've done a number of spotlights out into the world. We've announced 28 films already. Running with Beto, I was able to talk about because that's one of ours. This morning we announced our New Works in Progress Forum, which was picked up in Screen International. There was an exclusive story in Screen International about it, which is very exciting. And then very soon we're going to announce our Indigenous Spotlight program, which we've been working with Tracy Rector to put together a really incredible global look at indigenously made film from around the world. First Nations, Aboriginal, a number of directors in New Zealand, here in the United States, Native American directors, terrific 5 features and 12 shorts, somewhere around there. A couple of different free programs, one at the library, one at the Gates Foundation, just some really, really exciting things to energize attention around indigenous filmmaking from around the world.
Thank you.
And then we'll announce the whole lineup on the 1st. all the other parts of the films. Hi, Elliot.
Hi. I just want to say, last year I was able to attend the Works in Progress, and it was really amazing. So everything that they've said is 100% true. It's really, really incredible. So I just wanted to echo that.
Even if you can only make one of them, the experience of being in this room and being on essentially an equal footing with people from across the industry and filmmakers from around the world in terms of your thoughts and getting to hear, as filmmakers, you go through this process, but hearing somebody else, or hearing a bunch of people, like 80, 90 people, go through that process with somebody else's film can be hugely instructive. Just in the, how do you think through things? How do you think through how your character is developed? I was telling Andy and Aaron earlier that one of our projects was here, and he showed a cut of the film, and part of the audience at the end went, so was the father gay? And you could just see the panic in his face, because that is a central part to his film, and the fact that part of the audience did not see that was huge. And so Alvaro went back and he re-edited it, and he put some new, he took the story in some slightly different ways. It went on to premiere internationally in Berlin and win an award, and then it won an award, and then it won another award and another award, and it's still out on the festival circuit.
One other thing I forgot to mention, which is also one of the great privileges of having this program here, is that when those films do get finally released, we bring them back. So this year, one will be back this year called The Dive, which is Yona Rosenkir, is his name right? Yona Rosenkir's documentary is from Israel, and it's a really fascinating look at the nature of the conflict there through a single family, and it's really worth your time. So yeah. I would take a look at that. If I could.
So then you can see the works in progress and then the final film and see how they changed. So. Does anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, Karen.
Are the deadlines for industry accreditation and SFI accreditation the same? Are they May 1st?
They're May 1st. SFI, there's no price increase. And industry accreditation, you could do it all the way through to the end of the festival. It would just be more expensive. But the price increase is May 1st for industry. Because you want to get all that, because press screenings start May 1st, yep. 10 noon and 2 at Pacific Place. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep, 1 week. We'll talk about that. 1 week. Yeah.
Do you still need volunteers?
We always need volunteers. Yes. Yes. If you go to our website, there's a place to click volunteer. We work with about 700 or 800 volunteers through the course of the festival. 700 or 800. Yeah, just 7. We cover it all with 7 volunteers. 700 or 800 volunteers, because we need volunteers at every venue, at every event, at everything that we do, and we couldn't do it without them. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? All right, great. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the Office of Film and Music and the whole